My name is Michelle, and I am a hypnotherapist and mindset coach. So my clients are mostly, I work with male and females, but I work mostly with females, and I help them release negative emotions, help them with their mindset to just kind of relieve those limited beliefs and think more positive.
Yeah.
In simpler words.
Okay, so like, is it similar to like motivational speaking, or you actually more like a psychology?
No, so I do hypnotherapy, which is hypnosis.
Okay.
And I also mix a little bit of NLP, which is neuro linguistics programming. And I also do a little bit of EFT, which is emotional freedom techniques.
Okay.
So it's a little mixture of everything, depending on what the client needs and what they're struggling with.
This year, especially with the pandemic, did your clientele, you get a lot more business this year?
Yes, yes, we did. Well, actually, I started going like full time, taking in clients the last months of 2020. So during the pandemic, I was still like doing my trainings and like setting up the whole like business aspects of it.
Yeah.
But there has been like, I know other people within my industry that were growing and within the pandemic, especially because it was just really interesting because a lot of people lost their jobs and income was different. So I feel that most people, even though they had that situation, they wanted to invest into their self-development and their mindset. And I think especially during that time, it was definitely needed.
Do you do your consultations like via Zoom as well, or just in person, or how does
Both.
that? Both.
Yeah, there was a time where I did only via Zoom just because of the
you
situation.
But
I think people are starting to become a little bit more comfortable, and I personally love to do it in person.
It's way better in person.
Yes, it is.
No, that's why when you told me, where's the studio? Because I thought it was gonna be through Zoom. So it's like, okay, cool, better, because it's just I've done podcasts and it's just not the same,
Yeah.
But so what is like anybody that comes to you, it doesn't matter what kind of problems, is it like work stuff, mental?
Yeah. So
everything?
basically, majority of my clients come because they have limited beliefs or negative emotions that they want to release, such as like anger, guilt, something in the past they know that's been holding them back, and they want to unlock that in their in their subconscious, and or want to know more where this is coming from. Sometimes they want to have a specific goal and they just haven't been able to achieve that, so they're looking more into why is it that I'm not able to achieve this goal when I know it's simply so easy? Like what's blocking my mind? Like what's going on in my mindset?
Yeah, just going through the barriers.
Yes.
Okay. And so how do you get started with this? Like, did you go to school for this?
Yes. So I did it. Yes. I went to training. I kind of just fell into it because just going through my personal experience, I was looking for something that, okay, what's going to help me? I'm ready to take it to the next level. And, I ended up stumbling on this like Instagram post. And it's crazy because I saved that post, and I guess at that time I wasn't fully ready to make that big investment money wise. So I just saved it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna, whenever I feel like I'm ready and whenever the time calls me to it. And it just randomly, this one time I like to call it, I had an emotional breakdown. No, an emotional rock bottom. I was like, okay, no, I need help. Like I definitely, like I need someone to come and just like explain why am I feeling the way I'm feeling, and why am I having these emotions and like these negative thought patterns. So I went back to that post, and automatically, I didn't even have a job at that time.
What was that post when you say?
It was, so I went through a program called Yes Supply. She's a instructor of NLP and hypnotherapy, life coaching, and EFT. So when I saw the post, it was like a marketing post, or like,
if you're struggling.
Yes. So it was more, I even forgot what video it was from her, but it just really called me, and I really
saved it,
and I saved it, and I really I stalked her. I went into like, okay, who is she? What is this about? And I've never heard the term life coaching. Like I did not know what that was. But as I went more in research of who she was and what her company stand for, And I got in the call with them, and I was like, okay, this is what I need. I never in my mind did I ever think I'm going to do this as a career, and I'm going to do this as me helping others.
Yeah.
Even though I was going to school for psychology, I just took this program as like, I want this to help me so I can help my
inner
schooling,
circle,
inner circle and stuff. And then I never ever like thought of mixing them together.
Okay.
So when I did the training, I just fell in love with it. And I was so like, why isn't this taught in regular school? Like, why don't they teach us how to deal with our emotions? Why don't they teach us how to like talk to ourselves, like our internal talk, our beliefs, sometimes our negative beliefs as sometimes are not even ours, you know, like it's something that we were brought up with, or somehow we learned it. And I'm like, why are schools teaching this to us? Like, imagine like if you were to go to school and you were to have a class of how to deal with these emotions when you're feeling sad or when you're feeling angry. Especially, and I believe, I don't know, are you Hispanic?
Yeah.
Okay. Especially like in the Hispanic culture, right? Like, I feel like any type of therapy, it's like, oh no,
it's taboo.
Yeah, it's taboo, right? Like it's like, oh, es que estás loco. Like that's it. She lost it. He lost it. Like we're done.
Or
you know?
It's like the brujeria and then the limpias and all that. So it comes down to people planting seeds of those negative thoughts, or they tell you, oh, don't do that, you're wasting your time, or why aren't you doing something productive, why aren't you doing this? And then you don't even think about it then, but it affects you 5 years down the road when you're trying to make decisions. It's like in the back of your head, like creeping up on you. So
the subconscious. Mm-hmm.
The subconscious is really strong. And that's so you stumbled across that, and then you took the course and I
got really like, oh my God, why are we not learning this? And the whole like how our subconscious works. You know, we think that sometimes I used to think that we run on our conscious mind, and we don't. You know, 95% we run in our subconscious, and our subconscious is programmed from the time that we were in our mother's womb all the way to like age 7 or 8. And throughout that time, our environment, who surround us, how our parents are talking to us, is what molds us and what molds our beliefs and our belief systems, our values, and that affects us later on in life.
Yeah. And so you went to school for psychology as well. How is it different from psychology that you're taking versus this program?
I feel that difference is that I feel regular therapy is great. Like, you know, it has helped a lot of people. But the difference is that regular therapy focuses in one problem, and it's like, talk to me about it, like over and over and over until you have that breakthrough. So sometimes clients stay in therapy for years.
A lot of sessions. Yeah.
And it takes like one second out of one session to hit that breaking point. So with this training is from the moment that, you know, our first session, we deal with your subconscious. We talk to your subconscious.
How do you do that? How do you talk to your subconscious?
Under trance, under hypnosis.
So you actually put people to sleep, or just
have you ever meditated?
I've meditated.
Okay, so I always say this to
my
clients.
Asleep every time. I'm not gonna lie. Like we do those like 10-minute, just on YouTube. You just listen to somebody like think about this, and I fall asleep every time. So I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I try.
But right before you fall asleep, you hit a stage in your mind that you're very relaxed. So hypnosis is not what most people think it is. It's not like mind control. It's not, you're not going to be dancing like a chicken or anything like that, right?
Like the fairgrounds where they make you.
It's nothing like that. It's just a way that your hypnotherapist puts you into a very relaxation state of mind. So it's kind of like when you're doing meditation. Right before you fall asleep, you're very, very relaxed. And once you go into that trance, you embedded commands. So say you come to me, you tell me, okay, I want to get rid of I don't know, like I have this limited belief that I feel like I can't show up as I want to show up. So we do a little bit of like time technique, which is part of NLP. And we look at the root cause of where did you pick up this belief, and then we use a little bit of hypnosis to kind of embed the command that the opposite of that belief.
Okay.
So embedding the command is just really speaking to the subconscious. sometimes clients see results like right away, or sometimes it takes about a month or so that they notice like, oh wow, like I don't do that anymore, or I don't feel that way anymore.
Does that work for habits as well, like breaking bad habits, like
smoking?
'Cause I've heard of smoking, drinking, drugs, whatever. So that also taps into the subconscious, or how do you talk? How do you deal with somebody that has like a substance abuse problem?
I don't really touch substance abuse. I'm more into like my expertise are more into like releasing the emotions.
Okay.
But I have heard that I personally never had a client with that problem, but I know that in my field,
people have
yes.
And what's so typically what is like the most common right now type of client that you deal with? Like what kind of emotions or what kind of therapy you're doing?
Yeah, so mainly I do hypnotherapy. So majority of my clients have suffered from emotional abuse. Sadly, a lot of them have suffered from sexual child abuse. So releasing those traumas and rewiring their mind to make them feel like, okay, this is what happened, but not falling into that victim role anymore.
Yeah, trying to get them back to normal. And trying to adjust everything. Yeah. That's super interesting. Growing up, do you ever think like I'm gonna be? Well, you say you never knew you were gonna be doing this, but you were already doing psychology, so I'm assuming you kind of always wanted to help people, or you wanted to dive into what makes like a human.
No, since growing up, I knew I wanted to work with people. Like I love working with people. I love. Even like if I give one piece of advice and that changes their mind or that changes something in a positive way, like I love that. I love that feeling. So I knew that I wanted to work with people. So at first I wanted to do social work.
Okay.
But then I was like, no, that's way too emotional. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do like, going to people's homes and like, dealing with children and things like that. I was like, that's tough. That's a very tough job. I'm like, I'm too much of an empath to do that type of job. So then I went into the psychology, and I just love the way I fell in love the way our mind works and how it runs everything. One single thought could change everything. And it's so funny because, well, not funny, but no, I mean, I was always the person that as an outside, I will always feel that I was always positive. My friends will come to me and ask for advice, and I will always repeat it, like, well, how are you so positive? And, and stuff like that. But it was until I hit my whole like emotional rock bottom where I realized that, yes, I was positive towards other people, but I was really, really negative towards me. And I really have like harsh words like internally. And I didn't realize that till like my adulthood. So you were always like helping people, but you were really mean to yourself, or you just didn't like the way you were. Negative to myself.
Negative to yourself. Mm-hmm. But you always like all the burden of everyone else. You try to help them. Mm-hmm. Is that? I kind of know what you mean.
Yeah.
And so you have your practices. So do you have an office, or do you travel to clients?
I travel to clients' homes. I recently do not have an office. I am looking into space in the Carlsbad area, like San Diego area.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But nothing, I haven't made a decision exactly, like where exactly. Or I wanted to kind of also wait to see if things were going to, go back to, quote unquote normal.
Yeah, it's the new normal. It feels a little normal, a little bit like compared to we were months ago. But now it's like restaurants are indoor dining and concerts are opening up. Theme parks are going to be open. So I feel like a little bit normal, which is good. It's been a long year.
Definitely, yes. It's, what was this? On Friday, I was telling a friend, I'm like, oh man, I kind of miss quarantine. We went to this like bar, right? And before you had to order food, but there's no wait. Yeah. And I'm from LA, so waiting time, it's always long time. That was the
big
norm,
lines,
right? So during quarantine time, it was like you didn't have to wait. You could just go in, you have a drink, eat some like tortillas and chips and whatever. And but now that we went on Friday, things are like quote unquote back to normal. So they're like, oh, it's a 2-hour wait. And I'm like, what? Like, I do not miss this. It hit me like, oh man, reality. Like, how
well, it was a year of just getting used to the new other reality. You know, it's like takeout, you order online, you pick up Postmates and get everything delivered. Yeah, I know what you mean, because now I went to, it was Chipotle. So before I would just go and get the stuff, there was a huge line. Like, there was people dining in. There was a line outside the door, and it was just like, man, what the I guess I could order online, but it just sometimes you just go spontaneously. And now one thing about the movie theaters too, like everything's sold out. Like, I tried going, since they have everything spread out. You can't even get tickets right now because it gets pretty crazy. And I don't know, it's gonna be limited capacity for now, but at least we have something, you know, some mental clarity, some distractions. We could finally get concerts. Like, that's the thing I miss the most. What do you think you miss the most when you're in lockdown?
Social events. Definitely.
Social events.
Yes. Like socializing outside like your home or outside the online space.
No, it's hard when you don't see people and just have fun, you know. It's like, it's cool you doing your profession and you're working, but you do want to get distracted. Right. You want to have fun.
Definitely. And us, I feel like us as human beings, like, we're not meant for us to be just isolated. We need that social interaction. Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff. I don't want to get political, but a lot of stuff didn't just make sense. You know, some stuff were open and some stuff were closed, and you couldn't. Sometimes they say you couldn't even see your family during holidays and all that. I don't know how strict you guys were, but we still hang out with family. But it's just a lot of politics in there. But at least we made it out. Hopefully, there's no other lockdowns, but
hopefully not. Hopefully, slowly goes back to the old normal. Or the new norm. I'm not sure what it's called anymore, what to refer it as. Yeah,
they're saying it's going to be new normal, but I think it's going to take at least like a couple of years for us to be back. There's already places where I've seen people that don't even wear masks inside stores now, it's getting...
Well, a couple of states are mask-free. I know Texas is...
Florida, I think.
Florida, Arizona, maybe.
Maybe.
Arizona, I believe.
Yeah, Texas, like, they never shut down fully, so they even had like small events like concerts and comedy specials and things like that. Florida, my brother went to Tampa back in I want to say like July or August or something. He went to a jaripeo, like it's a Mexican rodeo stuff.
We're at in Texas.
No, in Tampa, Florida.
Oh, Tampa, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Tampa, Florida. And he said at the event and at the stores over there, no one was wearing masks, like, because he came from here to Florida. So here's everything shut down. Over there, nothing actually shut down. Masks weren't even mandated at the time. Oh, wow. And they just kind of lived their life, you know.
And this was during like 2020?
Yeah, 2020, at the end of 2020. And also, for example, the Disney parks here in California, Universal Studios, they were closed. In Florida, they never closed. They were actually open. So Disney was open, and Universal Studios, they were partially open. So a lot of those employees got to work, versus here, I think Disneyland laid off like 18,000 or 20,000 people. Like, it's kind of sad. Yeah. And then you don't know, it's like we're in the same country, but it's different mandates, you know?
Definitely. I think that's why Florida got a lot of heat during that time of like, they looked at that state as like, oh, like they're just rebels.
Well, Florida is different. that's where all they're like their own country, you know. It's Florida. It's not a real state. But now, at least as long as we get back to normal and get some distractions, I think that will be okay. So, okay, let's go back to your therapy sessions, because I've always wanted to like see a therapist or talk to somebody and go through that process, but I've always been like not skeptical, but kind of like, I guess, scared a little bit. Like,
scared of what?
I don't know. I don't even know what I'm scared of.
Is it
to be vulnerable, I guess, or just to open up? I don't know.
What makes you think if you were to go into that space, like what's holding you back?
What's holding me back? I don't even know. I don't even know where to start. It's just, I don't know. I've always, maybe it's been in my subconscious the whole time. So I don't know. I just never wanted to open up. You know, I'm more reserved, even though I make podcasts and stuff and I'm out there, but I don't know. I feel like I'm reserving some of my personal stuff. I don't know.
Is it something because you were brought up, raised because I know like in our culture, in our Hispanic culture, like it's looked bad, not bad, but how can I say this? It's not normal for people, or for especially for men, to show any type of emotional, because then they call you, they use certain phrases.
Yeah.
Yes, you think it's more of those limited beliefs that are not really yours, but you were.
Oh, maybe I guess it is cultural a little bit. Yeah, makes sense. Maybe that's why. Do you have problems with certain clients? Like it's hard to get to some versus others?
Oh, definitely. Yes. I feel like men especially, it's really hard to get in there.
To even get them to book a session, right?
Well, majority of them do come because of their own, because they're willing to do the work. I don't take anybody just because they want to try it out, or I want to see what the whole hype is about. I want to make sure that you're able to do the work, because I can't do the work for you. I can guide you through the work.
You're the guide.
Right. So if you're not willing to do the work, I don't want you saying, oh, well, it didn't work, when you were already like, oh, maybe I'm going to try this. And because I just, instead of like, this is exactly what I want, and I'm trusting you and to guide me through this. So the males that I do work with that are already at that level, like, okay, this is what I want to do, and I know I'm going to do the work, and I'm committed to it. It's hard for them to open up emotionally. It's really versus like women. Women is just like, oh, well, it's like over.
As soon as you get there, you're ready.
And I think it's more, I don't know, maybe sometimes people say that women are more emotionally, and we're just built by,
to express yourself.
To express ourselves. It's more, in our society, I feel like it's more norm to do that. And it's not, quote unquote, normal for men to do that. But they're human. I mean, you guys are human beings too. You guys have emotions.
We have emotions as well.
You guys are not.
I think a little bit.
You guys are not like made out of rocks. And I feel that society has made this like this idea of like, no, men don't have emotions, or they shouldn't be talking about that because that's looked upon weak, or it's not your role, or things like that. So when my clients do come, I have a little bit of a struggle of them opening up. But once I get there, it's like, it's like, okay, like this is why. Okay,
so all your sessions are the same about like the hypnotherapy stuff, where you have them come in and then they lay down. How does that process work? Like I don't know, or you actually go to their place, right?
So if they want, like, I can go to their place. I don't have an actual like office for them to come in yet. But online it's usually sitting down, not necessarily like laying down.
And how's it with Zoom? Like, how does that work? Like, do they just like have the Zoom in and you have them follow the steps, or what?
Right. So I guide them. I have to physically see them because there's a lot of I need to pay attention to like their physical body. But as long as they're in a comfortable sitting position and they have no distractions, then they're able to just follow my voice.
Okay, that's good. And what's like, I don't, not to get into details, but like what's like one crazy story from somebody that you helped them overcome, or something that's memorable to you?
I think they're all memorable to me because I learned something about them, but it's not, how can I say this? I've never really realized how norm it is. And it's sad, it's tragic, but child abuse or child molestation is really normal in our society, and I feel that more people go through it, and a lot of people don't talk about it because you feel ashamed, and you just, and it's so sad because, I've had people mention like, well, yes, I would tell my parents, or I would tell someone, and they just didn't believe me.
They don't believe them, yeah.
Or they will like phrase like, oh no, you're crazy. No, that person would have never done that to you, because it's usually a close person.
It's always somebody
somebody that you know. So to me, if a child, like a 6-year-old telling you like, hey, like this person like did this to me, and as a parent, you're not believing this, like it's just a lack of, I don't even know how to say it. It's more normal than what I ever pictured it to be, and it's sad. it's tragic.
And is it like a lack? Well, I don't know, but it's, I guess, like trusting. And then as a child, if something happens to you and you're going to the person's, like your parents or people of authority that, like, you're supposed to go with them with the problems and they don't believe you, is that messes up their, I assume they messes up their whole psychology, because it's like, I'm going to the people that I think I was supposed to trust.
Absolutely.
And then they're turning their back on me. They don't believe what I'm going through. And it's going to be really hard to live.
Yeah, so it messes up with their lack of trusting. Like, I trusted you with this, but yet you shut me down. So it's that buildup, and sometimes when they're that young out of age, our minds, our subconscious is really here to protect us, right? So it suppresses certain memories. Mm-hmm. And maybe, they don't remember exactly everything that happened, but they feel a certain way when they're around that certain person as they grow
it triggers.
Older. It triggers, right? But they don't know why. So they tap into the subconscious, and because our subconscious knows when you're ready to, like, deal with these certain memories, it starts to, like, open up, and they start remembering, like, oh, I remember now what happened with a certain person and why I feel this way, towards someone. And it makes sense because it triggers down to, oh, this is why, like, I can't be intimate with my partner because of, self-image issues that are not really self-image. It's just because of that tragic trauma that happened in the past.
Yes, it's still stuck in your subconscious.
That you haven't dealt with. Because what happens is, when we have so many negative emotions that we don't release, our body our mind, our subconscious mind, it just keeps storing it and storing it and storing it and storing it, right? And it gets to the point where it can't store it anymore, and it has to come out. So you have to deal with those negative emotions, or else it will come out in very negative ways. So people get sick, they get and this is probably going into, like, more of the holistic aspects of it.
So there was like the holistic.
Well,
well, before I actually get into that, how do you deal with those emotions? Like, I'm pretty sure it's really emotionally draining once you finish the session, hearing these people's traumatic stories.
Yeah.
Like, how are you, like, what kind of state mentally are you after you finish the session? After, do you, like, take a deep breath and, like, just take everything in, or how do you deal with that?
Well, before I go into each session, I have to make myself, like, in a good state of mind. Like, I need to show up for them, like, out of, like, my 200%. Even if I'm having, like, a shitty day or whatever in my personal life, I need to make sure I'm able to 100% be there for them. Mm-hmm. And be ready for whatever's going to come up. Because, when you talked about the subconscious, is really you're opening Pandora box. They can come to me. You can come to me and be like, hey, you know what? I'm always angry, and I want to know why. Like, help me with this anger. And then we go in there, and you're not angry. That anger comes from sadness. And that sadness comes because you were abandoned as a child, or you were something big happened that you don't even realize that triggered down to that specific event, right? So I have to be mentally prepared for whatever comes to me. So when I hear stories like that, like of child molestation or negative things like that, after I take my deep breath and just kind of like I sit there with my feelings, and if I have to cry, and there's times that after a session with somebody, like, I just feel like crying. Yeah. Because I'm like, wow, like, even thinking about it, like, gets me like wow, like, sentimental, like, it's just very. It's tragic. Like, how I picture them, like, as a child, and I just kind of, like, want to hug them and hold them, right? But I can't show that part
when you're talking
I'm talking to them, obviously, because then I'm gonna start crying with them, and then it's not gonna help.
That's gotta be tough, because just dealing with somebody, and then especially it's just one session after another, and it's all different problems. Mm-hmm. So now I'll let you talk about the holistic side of it. So. Mm-hmm. The holistic side, is that, what do you mean by that?
I feel that, everybody has their beliefs when it comes to medicine. Some people really trust doctors and medicine and vaccines and, stuff.
Just keep talking.
Okay. So when it comes to the holistic, when I mentioned that when we don't release those negative emotions, and we just keep suppressing them and suppressing them, and they come out, and they might show as some type of cancer, some type of chronic diseases, and it's really all mental, right? So when you go into a holistic doctor that will help you, instead of giving you like a bunch of like medications, prescriptions and stuff like that, they will give you more of mindset work, of more of a, okay, that was going on with your body and your mind, because we're all connected. That's what I meant, like holistic approach.
And it's all like natural. Do you everything, because holistic, I don't know, I always had the understanding it was like using natural
Herbs,
remedies and everything
work,
natural.
Yes, everything natural. Not so much going into like the drug, pharmacists and stuff like that, but more like, okay, let's try this type of therapy of breath work. Let's try working with your energy. Let's try working with, I'm not a holistic doctor, so I'm not really, but I have gone into a holistic way. So it's a lot of, herbs, like naturally, how to take care of your body and how to connect with your mind, how to, your mindset. Everything just comes into one. And there is I'm not sure if it's still on Netflix. Oh my gosh, I went blank on the name of it. But
a show on Netflix? Yeah,
it was a show. They interview a bunch of holistic doctors that they had patients cure from like chronic diseases, that terminal cancers, and they went into these holistic doctors.
That's an alternative, like last resort type.
Last resort, and I remember this one story that they did a lot of EFT, which is emotional freedom techniques. Where, I don't know if you ever seen those tapping videos where you tap different points of your body to release those emotions.
Not those, but I've seen like, I guess just like acupuncture. I don't know.
Okay, that's like,
yeah, that's something I don't know about the tapping though. But
okay, yeah. So there's this tapping technique where you tap different parts of your body to lower that negative emotion and feeling, so you can release that. So there was this patient with this holistic doctor or therapist, and she started doing like a lot of EFT, a lot of meditation, a lot of what was another one? A lot of journaling. I think I forgot what type of therapy this is where you like you pick up something heavy, like such as rocks, and you just like throw them out. Like you're releasing stuff. All these like emotions, start smashing stuff.
So that's because I know there's a lot of I guess like a lot of guys when they get angry they start throwing things, or like kids with video games and you get mad and they throw the controller at the TV. Is that like
it's like you need to you releasing that. It's not the healthiest way. I mean, obviously, unless you do it like in a safe environment, where you're just throwing rocks at the air. But it is a way that your body wants to release that emotion. That
a lot of times too, like going to gun ranges, right? Like just shooting, just like the blast and just shooting to like a target or something. Is that like also therapeutic?
For some people, yeah, definitely, because you're releasing that. I forgot what that emotion is called. The I'm sorry, I totally went blank. But it's basically like you're releasing that anger, or that. Sometimes it's not even anger. Sometimes it could be sadness.
Yeah,
a lot of people cope differently.
Well, there's a lot of pressures in society when it comes to work, personal life, especially now with social media. Do you deal with anything with people being depressed because of social media, or is that something you ever talk about with your clients, or no?
No, I have not had that type of situation. I have had people like with depression, but not because of social media, just different.
If someone has depression, what would be like the first step? Well, of course, I mean, booking a session would be one thing, but like something that could do at home, like something that people could do to at least help themselves a little bit,
Yeah, affirmations. So what I will like, sometimes I tell my clients is like, okay, write down what you think of, like, track your negative thoughts, such as like, oh, I don't feel worthy of this. I don't feel loved. I don't feel like my partner loves me. I'm not deserving of money. What's another one? I don't feel pretty. I don't feel beautiful. I don't, like all these catch what your negative thoughts are and write them down. And then you start seeing that pattern. You know, you start seeing like which one comes up more. Then on the other side, you write the opposite. I am beautiful. I am loved. I am enough. I am worthy. And those are your affirmations, right? So, and it's crazy because if you look at yourself, because I've done it like in my personal, like in my beginnings, I'll look at myself in the mirror and I'll say these things and I feel so stupid. I'm like, what the fuck am I even doing?
Oh, like in the movies?
Yeah, like what am I doing? Like this feels like, it just did not, I wasn't aligned with it, right?
You didn't believe it, or you thought you were,
I'm like, this is just not gonna work. Like, but after obviously going through like studies and trainings, and it's so important the way we talk to ourselves, like our inner talk, because we believe everything. I can tell myself a lie or a truth and I'll believe it either way. Like my subconscious will get it. So if I keep telling myself all these negative things, I'm going to start slowly believing it. As if I start telling myself positive things, I'm going to slowly start believing it. But the trick is catching those negative thoughts. So now when I look at myself in the mirror and I do my affirmations and I'm like, no, I'm owning up to it. Like, this is me. Like, I am worthy. I am beautiful. I'm whatever. So that's something that I know that I dealt with. And I know probably other people are like, if they ever try it, it just doesn't feel normal. It doesn't feel right. It feels out of it. But once you step into that identity of like, no, I am, like, why the fuck not? Like,
do you still do that?
The affirmations? Yeah, I do my affirmations. I meditate a lot, so that's another thing that I would. Some things that you can do at home. Meditate with guided meditations or just music, very slow music.
I saw this thing. It was. Oh man, it was a podcast or a YouTube video. I don't know. It said meditation. You could also just do nothing, just like literally lay down and do nothing. Like you don't have to. Some people do the breathing method or listening to, but it also works when you just like shut everything off, let your body and your chemicals reset. Is that something recommended, or I don't know?
Yeah, there's different type of meditations. There's guided meditations, like you mentioned. Like there's breathing meditations. There's silence meditations. And I feel the silence meditation is probably the hardest one because we're always thinking. There's always so catching that thought and being like, okay, go away thought. And then trying to be like in a very neutral state of mind. That's hard, I feel.
So when you're meditating, what if like a bunch of thoughts? Because when I do it, it's like I'm thinking about work the whole time.
Yes, because that's our conscious mind.
So I know it I just like, I don't know. I just think a bunch of random stuff and my mind's going everywhere. But then is that normal, or should I be focusing on like a neutral white room, or I don't know?
Yeah, you can focus on a neutral white room, or you can say your affirmations there, right? So certain feelings will come up once you're meditating. So you can feel stress, you can feel worry. So acknowledge the feeling and like release the feeling, and then go back into like that white room.
Yeah.
Or go back into the affirmations, or counting. Sometimes counting from 100 to 1 without having any thoughts. And you'll notice once you get to like 80 something, you're like, oh fuck, what number am I in again? Okay, 100. And then like, you start like all over. But it's just a way of practicing how to control your mind. Because once we're in a conscious level, that's when all those worry thoughts, oh, what am I going to do tomorrow? Oh, okay, you have like 100 and some shit to do. Like you start like worrying, and then you have to kind of catch yourself. Like, no, this is my me time. This is like my reset time. Honestly, meditation has been a life-changing for me, because that's really, if I don't meditate, I feel like my head is just crowded with a bunch of shit that I need to do, and that's just my space. Even if it's like for 5 minutes of just I don't like to do silence. I'd like to do like a guided or like music, very soft music. That's just my preference, but it's just a way of me getting aligned with myself and be like, okay, like I can do this. Continue on with the day.
Yeah, because that's good. I don't meditate every day, and I just don't do it every day. But when I do it, it's just when I'm feeling like overwhelmed, I'm just like, you know what? I'm put my phone down, because so I run a towel business and I get like 100 phone calls a day. Like it's crazy. My mind is just insane. So I'm getting a call every like 10 minutes. We're doing a project here, a project there. Homeowners calling me here, doing all kinds of stuff. And then sometimes it's just like too much. Like even today I had to go to work in the morning we're doing the project. It's Sunday, but we got so much work. We're trying to catch up today. So it's just like my mind's going insane sometimes. And those 10-minute breaks do help. Like I'd never done it before until this year, but I'm slowly trying to dive into that.
Or even if you just like if you're sitting in the car and like you feel like that stress that's coming in and you feel it, that's the first step, like acknowledging that you're feeling this way and that it's coming, like you're starting to feel like a lot of stress. So if you just want to like, even if it's like for 2 seconds, like a minute, like just acknowledge your breath. Okay, how. Like put all the attention into your breath and see how like it calms down, and it's just naturally like your state of mind just kind of like, okay, like who's that?
No, that's good. Yeah, I definitely gotta do. I gotta get more into meditation. I also the words of affirmation that like I've done it a couple of times. I don't know if I don't really believe it or it's like, okay, today my word is, doing this. And then actually my day, I don't know if it's subconscious, but it actually turns out better when I start the day telling myself I'm going to do this, this, and this. I don't know. Because
energy goes where focus goes. So you're focusing on one, like, what was, if you don't mind me asking, what's that affirmation that you do? Like,
so sometimes I'll be like, just getting, I don't know if it counts, but just like making sure you don't waste time, like do the task. Because a lot of times it's like, I got to do something. And I'm more freaked out about doing it than actually doing it. Like, I don't know, like reporting a problem. Instead of just calling right now, oh, there's this and this. I'm thinking about it like, oh, man.
Oh, like, because it's uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
So you lag it.
And it turns into deeper problems. So there's days where I'm like, I'm doing this today. And then everything just flows and turns out great. And then there's days where I did it like 3 days in a row with like an affirmation. And then I didn't do it, and then that whole day was just chaotic. So I don't know if it's subconscious or that actually, I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably. Well, what was that your affirmation when you did those days? What was that?
So one of them was like stress free. Okay. Just like today I'm gonna be stress free, and I'm just gonna take the steps to do like what I need to do. That was actually my best day when I was like, there's times where I don't feel stressed, where I'm just like, okay, cool. If something happens, what I gotta do to solve it?
So what's the opposite of stress?
The opposite of stress? I don't even know. Like relief, happiness. I don't know.
So that would be your affirmation, because once you're saying, "Oh, I'm not feeling stress," one thing about our subconscious is that it doesn't pick up the do's and don'ts. So you're focusing on the stress. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
So you want to go into the opposite. I feel calm. Today I'm going to have a very calm day.
Oh, okay. So I was doing it wrong.
No, you were doing it wrong. No. But if you want to go more in detail and pay more focus on your language, then instead of focusing on like the actual problem, like the word stress, because if you think about it, like I mentioned, like once you energy goes where attention goes, you're focusing on, even though you're saying, I'm not going to feel stress, your subconscious is not going to pick up the not part. Your attention is going into the stress word.
Stress.
Right?
Okay.
So we're going to switch that. We're going to do the opposite. So what's the opposite of stress? Is calmness. It's easy flowing. So, today I'm going to wake up and it's going to have a great calm day.
Yeah.
And that's your affirmation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. What's other affirmations? Because I don't...
Oh, anything. Just if you switch it up. Like if you feel...
if you're always angry...
Okay, what's the opposite of angry?
Happy.
What's another word for happy?
Another word for happy? I don't know. Joyful.
So today I'm going to feel joyful. Today's going to be a joyful day. Today's going to be a
great
day.
Be grateful.
Oh my gosh, as grateful as it we're tapping into that mindset of being grateful for everything, So once you feel stressed or you have a crazy day and like sometimes we have those days that everything just goes to shit. Like everything is just going like every day, right? Like things just do not go as planned or shit just happens and then it just triggers you to have like a very worse day. But if you take a step, just like 1 minute out of your day and be like, touch your heart, focus on your breathing, and then like run down for everything that you're grateful for, all the things that you get to do versus like, oh, I have to do. Like instead of saying, oh man, I have to go to work tomorrow. No, you get to go to work tomorrow.
Taking a step back. There's, especially with this year, you saw a lot of people didn't have work, and a lot of people, passed away too. So we're lucky that we're still here. It could have been a zombie apocalypse like we expected it to be.
Yeah, right.
And now we're here. So you have work, you have this, or you're stressed because of work. It's good to take a step back and, okay, I'm grateful that I actually get to, these problems are because I'm lucky to be in this position that I'm in. So, okay.
Another thing that's really important that I feel that most people miss about affirmations is actually believing it. Like stepping into the identity up to that. Like, because you can look at yourself in the mirror and think all these things like like as I was mentioning earlier. But if you don't feel it and you're not stepping into the identity as like, oh, I am happy. Yeah. I'm choosing to be happy. Then it's not going to work. You have to say it, believe it. Even if you don't believe it, you have to trick yourself to believe it.
Trick your mind.
Yeah, trick your mind.
The mind is the most powerful thing.
Definitely. Your subconscious.
Yeah.
It's the most powerful thing.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Wait, isn't your subconscious part of your mind? I don't know.
Well, your mind is as a whole, but it has your conscious and your subconscious.
Do you, for goals, so like, do you ever, for achieving more goals, is that something that you also help people with?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Putting goals
and also, let me ask you this, goals, do you feel like you have to see them every day in order to actually achieve them? Or if you don't see them every day, because I know we all make like our goals or New Year's resolution, and then you forget about it a month later, and then you don't achieve anything because you're not holding yourself accountable, or you're not taking those steps every day to achieve the goals that you wanted for yourself. Do you believe in having them, for example, like on the wall or on your phone and looking at them every single day, every morning?
Yeah, definitely.
Does that help?
Absolutely. That's something that, because our mind works, it learns pictures, right? So if you can have your goals where you can see them anywhere, subconsciously you're picking it up, right? Or even if you record yourself telling yourself those goals, that works as well.
Oh, cool.
And also with setting goals, I like to tell my clients, like, let's work backwards. Okay, so what's your identity of where do you see yourself like 5 years, 10 years from now, right? So, okay, I see myself a very successful person, and I'm a millionaire and X, Y, and Z. Yeah. So, okay, so we have 5 years to do that.
5 years, yeah.
Then we work backwards. Okay, so what is it that you have to do before you get to that space? Oh, well, I have to build a successful business. I have to X, Y, and Z. So we work backwards all the way to the now.
Okay.
So now they don't become just, they're not obtainable goals, or they don't sound crazy goals, right? So now they're okay, I'm getting this goal because that goal is going to take me to next month, and then that month is going to take me to next year, and the next year is going to take me to the following until I achieve my actual like big goal. Okay. But it has to fit your identity as well, right? So I can't say like, I want to be like this fit model and like eat McDonald's all the time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, so do you write goals? Let me ask you, do you ever write like your goals, and do you do that for yourself? Like,
I do.
Because I know you help clients, but do you ever, like, do you work on yourself with these affirmations and these plans every single day, or do you?
Yeah, every single day.
I'm
like obsessed with it.
So that's smart.
And I don't think you have to look at them every day, but to me, it's just a reminder, and it's a motivation. Like personally. So I go, I don't call them New Year's resolution things, because sometimes if I don't accomplish one of them, I don't want to feel like, oh man, like I fell at this and here we go again, Yeah. So it's like, okay, I have the goals for my 5-year goals that are breaking down into a 1 year. And then within that 1 year, they're breaking down into months. And then within that month, I focus, okay, I have 3 big goals, within that month. Okay. And within those 3 goals, I break it down, what can I do each day to accomplish that? So if that means like I have to work on my business an extra hour, then I have to do that for X amount of days. You get me? Like very like breaking them down so they don't feel like, oh my God, I want to make you know, achieve this like big goal that seems like very like far away,
Yeah.
and you don't know how to get there because there's a big gap.
Yeah,
so breaking it down into like all the way to like
achievable goals first, leading up to the bigger goal.
Definitely, yeah. So I do see them writing, journaling. That also helps a lot too.
Okay.
Writing your affirmations.
Okay. So not just saying them in the mirror, but actually writing them down too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a lot of notebooks? Do you do it digital or do you?
Oh, no, I'm like old school.
You're old school.
I have planners. I recently tried to switch to like digital, but there's something about writing them. And I tell my clients this, like when you write something, you use a certain part of your brain. So
versus typing.
Yeah. So if I write something down, I can guarantee you that I won't forget. If I type it or I most 50% of the times I forget.
Yeah, it happens too.
Yeah.
I feel the same way too when you write it down. Yeah, I think you do. I feel like I read somewhere too that you do use like a certain part of your brain when you're doing that kind of thing. So definitely, I don't do journaling, but I was reading a book last night and I forgot to switch. I was reading a book last night and it broke it down that you need to almost have like an hour, your whole day planned, because if you, for example, it was like a business book, but it was, you run your business, you wake up at a certain time and you have to follow a routine in order to achieve more. So you have your hours and then you have your leisure time. You put it in there. You have your day off, what you're going to do. If you're religious, day for religion, for family. And if you don't do that, you're going to be stuck either at work or you don't get stuff done at work because you get distracted by other things. And for example, at 5 o'clock, I have to go to the gym at 5 o'clock. If you have it on your calendar or on your daily calendar, you're not going to do anything at 5 o'clock versus if your friend calls you and you're like, oh, I'll probably go to the gym today at 5. Your friend calls you, end up going somewhere else, and then you don't go it because you're not following your strict schedule. So I was reading about that last night, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, the power of routine, right?
Yeah, that's what it was, routine. Creating a routine that's leading you toward your goals.
Right, and also the building healthy habits.
Okay,
that helps a lot too. So for me, like, and I'm trust my friends and family are like, you are so like crazy because I'm so detailed. Like I have to. I mean, I wish I could show you. I didn't bring it, but
were you like this in school too? Like super note taker?
Like note taker, yes.
With like 7 different highlighters and
yes, each color represents something. I'm a very type A personality, which I just found out about. But yeah, so I'm very structured. I like that.
What's type A?
Type A is very organized. I have to have a certain way to do things, and if I don't have that certain step by step, then I can't focus. I feel like very scattered, and when I feel scattered, I'm not productive. Okay. So my daily agendas are I wake up at 4:30. I do like my morning stuff, like which is meditation and journaling. It takes me about half an hour. The hour to get ready and like breakfast and stuff. So I have like such detail where I need to like take my breaks at a certain time. And I have to like write, 10-minute break, like 10-minute mental break or whatever. But if I don't write it down, and I think this is a weird habit. It's weird that I like to like highlight or do that check off. It has like this like fulfilling feeling.
Finish that test. Finish that test.
I feel so accomplished. Even if it was like, okay, I'm gonna take my 10-minute break, and I actually took it on time, and I'm like, oh man.
It's like making your bed. That's I read about that too. You make your bed is like you accomplish these tasks, or at least when you get home, you have a clean bed or something.
Yes. I've read. I think that's where they do that in the military or something like that, right?
It was. I think maybe the power of habit. No, I don't know.
I think it says something about, if I remember right, it gives you the sense of accomplishment first thing when you wake up, so you feel more productive. Like, okay, you did that already. Let's tackle the rest of the day.
Yeah, because if you wake up late and you wake up chaotic and you're just rushing.
But notice the days, like when you wake up like that, because we all have those days, right? Like you don't really follow your morning routine. How does your day go?
You just don't feel right. You don't feel in
like you feel
space.
off. So versus like sticking to that routine of whatever your morning is, and then having like a nice structure, time management day.
Yeah, that's something I struggle with a lot. Is the time management and creating that routine. So I know I've known about it. I just never done it like everything else because I don't write it down.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do today is because I read that book yesterday and then talking to you, I have to start doing
a sign.
it. Yeah, it's the universe is calling to me. So I gotta start doing that. I'm gonna do because I also don't have time because I'm focused so much. By the time I'm off work, my mind is just fried. It's just like so. I don't have anything written down, knowing that I have to do something like I don't know how to say it, but yeah, I feel like making a schedule, like you said, have those breaks in there, have this, and this throughout the week. Hopefully that helps me get more organized.
Or having like, okay, what are the top 3 priorities? Like you have, a business and you have you're managing multiple things. So what are your top 3 priorities of the day that if you those are like a must, like you need to get those like no excuses
done ASAP, yeah.
Exactly. Even if it's like such as like wanting to get a car wash, like that's a must, like
yeah,
giving that energy to those top 3 things. And if you're able to conquer more than that, then great. But if not, then because I feel sometimes that we live such in a society in times that we're just so on the go, and we have all these like crazy to-do lists, and when we don't get certain things done, we were harsh on ourselves, like, oh man, I had to do this and I didn't do this.
Yeah.
And, like you start beating yourself down versus like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to take it slow, which is like very hard to do. And I'm only going to focus on 3 things or maybe only 2 things. And I'm going to tackle them. And you know what, the rest could, go to the following day and so on and so on. And like building those healthy habits and that healthy, because it's even for your mental mind, like mental health, like it's not okay for you to be on the rush all the time.
Yeah.
And then you burn out yourself. So how can you build a successful business if you're not taking care of you?
Yeah, that's true. No, yeah, I'll definitely start journaling. I think that's the number one thing
that
I'm gonna take from this is like I'm a journal, and there's no right or wrong way to do this, right? It's just
some people say like, okay, well, I mean, if you Google like journal prompts, like it comes up. But honestly, if you just or people say, oh, I'm not a writer, or I don't like that, or try it. Just trust me. Open up whatever notebook and just start.
Just do the habit. Create the habit.
Yeah, like today I had a shitty day because somebody cut me off or somebody honked at me or whatever, and it just you just start allowing yourself to just flow. Just flow. And it's like brain dumping. That's what I call it. Like you just brain dump, or you have like all these ideas. Like, oh, I had this idea yesterday, and
Do you journal your day even to the end of the day? Like, let's say you have a couple clients, you have this, and you have nothing from like 6 to 9, 6 to 10. Do you like journal that as well, or you just like do nothing, hang out? I don't know.
I like in my free time, or
free time. Do you just okay, this is my free time?
I schedule that.
Or do you actually schedule like, oh, I'm going to be doing this from this to
Yes, I schedule that. Like if I'm free from 6 to 9, then okay, I'm going to have like Netflix time from like 6 to 7.
Okay.
And then I'm going to have dinner with someone, from 8 to 10, and I'm going to be in bed by 10:30. So I schedule. I tell people, and it's again like setting boundaries with stuff as well. But I tell them, like, if you're not on my schedule, like I don't have, I can't make time for you but that's just the type of person I am.
Yeah.
That's just the way I feel more productive.
I feel like that's like the way to go, because especially when you're doing like your business, it's hard you don't want to like let people down, or you do want to still hang out with friends and stuff. But if you don't put those boundaries, like I need to have my priorities set first. I have to do this. Oh, I can't today. I used to be like a yes man.
Oh, a people pleaser.
Always. I've been that like my whole life. So it's just like whenever, oh, you want to do this? Yeah, let's do it. Oh, let's do that. And it throws my whole schedule off. And then the next day I'm like trying to catch up, and chaotic again, because my life's been chaotic. So definitely and I want to start journaling right now, but yeah, that's how I've always been, just a people pleaser.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Why do you feel like you're people's what makes you feel that you are a people pleaser?
I don't know. I always felt like I don't want to let people down, or I'm like, oh, because I have fun too. So it's like, oh, cool, I'm gonna go hang out and do this. Oh, I'm gonna go over here and hang out with this person, do that, and sometimes I know that I got to do other things. I'm like, I'll worry about it tomorrow. I do that a lot where I kind of put it off for the next day, and then the next day happens, and then it just starts with a bunch of problems, and probably leads to more phone calls, and probably that's where my life's crazy, actually.
So what would happen, and instead of like going somewhere else, you actually tackle those?
I feel like, for example, because a lot of the work that I do it starts from the day before. So I got to pick up this material, I got to do this, I got to schedule this person to go here. And then if I don't do that the day before and get all the materials, I'm rushing in the morning to get those things done. And then by the time we get to the job site or something, a lot of time goes wasted in the morning where I could have been more productive, or I would have had a little more free time. I guess that's something, more free time.
Okay.
That's what I need, more free time.
More free time.
Yeah.
Because I need to make the time to have more free time.
Yeah. Because I don't write it down. So, for example, today, today I went to work, and then I had a podcast before this right here. I had a podcast like an hour ago before you showed up, and now I'm doing a podcast here. Then I'm going to an event right now, like I don't even know what time it is, but I'm going
to be at the same event.
Going to an event, and then from there I'm going to have a video photo shoot at 4, and then I'll be done for my day. But it's just like, and that's my day off. You know, like throughout the week it's just all work. Maybe a few Zoom podcasts in the evening, and then also do videos for people, like videography, music videos, and just like it literally my whole day is just like one thing to another. And sometimes I feel I stress more about like video stuff than my actual work stuff, because it's weird, because there's we have over like 30 people in our company, and if I have to get the jobs and get all the materials and talk to homeowners and do this and that, and I get more stressed when I have to like turn in a video or a photo shoot it's not a big deal, you know, it's like just edit it and send it. I get more stressed about that than the actual tile stuff. I don't know why. I don't know why. When the responsibility is higher in the other end, you know.
Other than that, yeah. It's because it's more repetitive, and it's more like like it's kind of like almost the same thing.
Yeah, I guess it is more repetitive
versus like the video editing.
But
it kind of like ties up of you being a people pleaser, because you want to make sure that person receiving that editing video is happy with it. You want to please them.
Yeah, and I'm also more in control. So for example, we got to install this tile here. I'm like subcontracting to other people to do it, so I'm not actually doing it. Versus the video, I'm the one editing and taking the pictures of. Maybe it's because it's up to me to get the task done, versus like I'll hire these guys to do this job, and I know they're gonna do it. So maybe it's that, I don't know.
Letting go of control and trying to control how they're gonna work.
And I've tried outsourcing the video editing and stuff. I just don't feel comfortable letting go, which is weird because I do that with tile, but I feel like I'm not ready to do that with videography. I don't know. I'm kind of juggling that stuff. What do you recommend?
Trusting yourself and trying to going into why do you feel like you need to be in control? You know, what would happen if someone else was to take control?
I feel like I could do it better.
You can feel
like if it was like, if it's a video and I need to edit this video, I feel like I could do a better job than the people I'm outsourcing it to. Has
another person done a better job than you in the past?
Well, there's a lot of people that are better than me, but I don't know. I just haven't done it enough, I guess, when you think about it. But oh well, I'll try it out. It's hard for me to open up.
I can tell.
Yeah.
You cut me off a little bit.
Producer, cut us off. I'm getting too.
You're getting hot.
I'm getting hot. It is getting hot in here. But yeah, okay. Well, before we wrap up, thank you for coming. Where can people find you? Do you have a website? Do you have a social media account? Or I'll put the links in the description as well. But if you want to tell people.
Well, thank you for having me and allowing the space. Right now, I just have Instagram, which you can find me at Michelle.Alexandrite. Yeah, that's where I'm at. The link to websites and everything is there. So
if somebody wants to book, they go through your website?
Yeah, they'll go through the Instagram
The links, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So right now the website's not complete, so we're not. It's not live. Hopefully soon.
Okay, yes. And then how far, like, booked are you? Like, are you super booked? Do you have
for the month of April, I only have I think like 2 openings. I'm finishing one because I don't take a lot of clients at once. I like to
spread them out.
Mm. But I think my one-on-ones will reopen in May.
In May?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In May.
That's good. Yeah, well, thank you for coming on the podcast. I'll have this up for you, and thank you guys. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and make sure you guys hit her up on Instagram.
Thank you.
The links, and then we'll go from there.